Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla. Today we are going to be playing around with our new Thunderbolt laser engraver. I know you can't really see it right now, so I don't know why I'm pointing, but we're going to play with it today. I have some cutting boards. I showed you guys this in my last video when I showed you unboxing my laser. I got these at Goodwill. I thought this one was a fun shape. It's kind of, can't tell if it's like a wine bottle or if it's like a paddle, but either way, we're going to find something cool to put on this. I was thinking like I don't know, like a trout or some sort of fish design or lake or something. We'll see. I have a few images saved on Etsy that we're gonna purchase here in a minute. And then I also got this big cutting board. I love this one because it has little like feet pedestal things. Should I sand these down before I laser them? Probably. Am I going to? No. I'm just gonna go for it. So I actually did this one yesterday. I posted it on my Instagram Reels this morning, and it is so beautiful. My husband just oiled it for me and I am so happy with how it turned out. I think I could have gone maybe a little bit deeper, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's kind of a weird shape. You can see that it's, not flat on the bottom, so it was really hard for me to, make sure it was straight and lined up and everything, but I'm really happy with how this one turned out. So like I said, I'm not quite sure what design we're gonna do for each of these, but I have a few saved on Etsy and we're just gonna decide and purchase them, and I'm gonna show you everything. So we're gonna head over to Lightburn, do all of our settings. Now I'm still learning the software. I've only played around with my laser a few times, so I'm still learning, all the lingo and terminology and settings. So if I say something wrong or set something wrong, be kind to me in the comments. I'm still learning. But yeah, let's go play around with these cutting boards. Okay guys, so I'm doing this voiceover after the fact. I did another voiceover and it didn't save, and it's really frustrating to have to go back and do it. So I'm gonna try to line all this up as best as I can. I purchased the files that I decided on from Etsy, so now I'm just downloading them and then I'm going to drag and drop them into Lightburn. I'm going to resize it, making sure it is locked up above, and then just resizing it to the size that I want. And then I'm going to go over to my settings on the right, make sure it is on fill, and then I'm going to double click on that area and make sure all of the settings are where I want it: the speed, the power, the air assist, etc. This right here is just showing what it's going to look like, which parts of it are actually going to engrave and what's not. This is the part that where you do all your power settings, lines per inch, air assist, etc. So I'm just changing my power minimum and max to 50, 300 lines per inch, and then I'm turning my air assist off. And I'm actually gonna go back and change my power to 60 just so that it's a little bit deeper and hopefully a little bit darker on the board. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just double check my sizing, make sure it's where I want it. Now I'm going over down here to job origin, and the drop down menu right above it, you can see it says user origin. That's where I can pick where my laser dot is going to be and where I want to start and line up the job. I'm going to pick dead center because I'm going to center it on the cutting board. Sometimes I do the very top left if I'm doing like a leatherette sheet, but for this instance I want to start dead center. Like I said, I'm going to center that right on the cutting board, and that way once I trace it I know exactly where all of my parameters are and everything. I have found that it's kind of tricky to explain, but it really just depends on what you're engraving on, where you would have your origin start, but for this purpose I want it to start right in the middle of the cutting board. So then I'm going to hit send, and it's going to send it over to the machine. I'm not going to hit start because that's going to automatically start the job, but if I hit send I can line up my board, do my trace, do my autofocus, and then I can press start manually from the laser. Okay, so here is our control panel on the Thunderbolt. I'm still learning what all of these different ones do, but I have AF for autofocus, origin, and frame. These are the three that I have found that I use the most, next to these control buttons of, lining up my design and everything. Autofocus, I will show you that once we get to the cutting board. I'll show you how to do that. Origin, once we have it set, we're gonna put it there, and that's gonna show us where we're gonna start. And then frame, a lot like embroidery, it's basically the same thing as trace. So I'll show you that once we get there too. It's just gonna trace our design on the cutting board and show us where we are. The Z axis brings the table up and down, and then your X and Y, you know, obviously up, down, left, and right. So let me show you the cutting board. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this okay. With how I have this up on the table, it's hard for me to look at the screen on the camera because it's up so high. There is a red laser dot, and that is basically where we're going to put our origin point. I made a tiny dot with a pencil right here. I don't know if you can see that on camera, of where the approximate center is on the board. So I'm gonna line up that red dot with this. Now this is our job origin point, so you guys saw me center it in Lightburn, so this is going to be the absolute center of our design. So I'm going to line it up on that dot. I have my cutting board I think as straight as possible. I'm going off of the bottom edge of my tray, and then I have it lined up over here on the left side. So hopefully you guys can see this. I'm just using the arrows on the keypad to move my laser. That looks pretty close. It's hard for me to get exact. Now, another thing that can make it easy is just moving my board. That's sometimes a lot easier than just pressing the buttons 8 million times. Okay, so now I'm going to hit origin so that it stays right there and doesn't move. And I'm gonna hit autofocus, and you're gonna see it move up and down. Now this is focusing the lens on the cutting board. And you can see it goes right back to where I had it. And now I'm gonna hit frame, and it's gonna trace. Okay, so I actually just kept getting an error message, so I turned my camera off because I was getting really frustrated. And I think this was my issue. I didn't rotate my design. I had it normal, upright, and it kept saying it detected that like my design was outside of parameters. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've resized designs many times. So I was like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't rotate my design. So hopefully this is it. So I'm gonna press frame and see if it actually works. And look at that, it did. Let me show you it's tracing. So rookie move, I didn't rotate. Okay, my red dot is still in the same spot, so I'm gonna frame again. And that looks pretty good. It doesn't cover as much of the board as I wanted. Let's see, maybe I can stretch the design out. All right, I stretched the design out a little bit more. It's about 6.5 inches long now, so we're just gonna go for it and see what happens. I'm going to close the lid, and hopefully you guys can still see that okay. And I'm going to press start. Okay, I would definitely call this one a fail. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it looks cool if you look up close. I don't know if it's just like the type of wood or what, but it's like, I wish it was a little darker. And it's very, I don't know, like these lines are not smooth, so I don't know, like I said, if it's just the type of wood or what, but definitely not what I thought it was gonna be. And I didn't get it as centered as I thought I did. It's a little closer to the edge on this side, which is fine. You know, this was just a cheap practice one. There's a reason I went thrifting for this stuff. But let's go ahead and do this one and see if we can get a different outcome. Okay, for this one, I'm gonna move my Z-axis down a lot. Just to get it in there, and then we'll adjust. Open the front door and then slide it in instead of going the other way. So, there's that. And now I can adjust the board from in here. Okay, now I'm going to line up my red dot. Perfect, just like that, I think. There we go, that's absolutely perfect. I'm not going to move it at all. Make sure my board is straight. I'm going to hit origin so that it's exactly where I want, and now I'm going to autofocus. It's going to bring my Z-axis up to where it needs to be. Okay, now I'm going to frame. So I did my width as big as I possibly could. I did 15 inches. This is about, I think it was like just under 18 inches wide. So I did 15. So let's do that again just to show you. So yeah, it's about 1.5 inches on each side. So I think we're okay. I don't know how much better this one's gonna turn out, but we're gonna find out. This is why we bought cheap stuff to practice with. So now we start. So this one definitely turned out a lot better. It's definitely darker. You can see the image a lot more clearly than that one. I think it's obviously just a different type of wood. They were pretty much the same settings. So I don't know. It's gonna look a lot better once I oil it. I just couldn't find any food grade oil in all of my husband's stuff. So I'm gonna have to get some, and then I bet you once I oil this, it'll look just as good as this one. This one we're not using for cutting, it's for decoration. So the oil he used on this one isn't food safe. But this big one we definitely will use for food. So I definitely want to use like a good mineral oil or butcher block oil or something on this one. But I think all in all, it turned out really, really good. So let me know what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed my first actual laser video. I definitely have a lot to learn, a lot more trial and error. I think I'm gonna go thrifting again or yard selling again pretty soon, just to get some more cheap stuff. I don't remember if I said it in the beginning, but this one I got at a yard sale for 75 cents. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, so I think this was $4.99, this was $3.99, so $10 in all of this wood just to play around with. I think that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what I'm missing. If you have any laser tips and tricks, I'm eager to learn this craft and really dial it in. I have some fun stuff coming up with like leather patches and acrylic and things like that. So definitely leave me all of your tips and tricks down below. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.